Hey guys, is the number of rookies who are making an impact, J.J. Nelson, Marcus Golden, Rodney Gunter, David Johnson, their second, third, fourth, fifth round picks. You know, the only guys really not is their first round pick, G.J. Humphries, who was inactive. Mm-hmm. It's just funny how that's all worked out. Their first round pick hasn't made his way on the field this year. He hasn't earned his way onto the field, but still the Cardinals, you know, it shows how well they draft. Yeah. How many guys, later in the draft made a huge impact, and the Cardinals wouldn't have won that game if not for any of those guys.
No, the only guy that comes to mind quickly is Tom Brady. He wasn't exactly a top pick, but was he sixth round, Brett? Sixth round pick, something like that. Mm-hmm. So, but you know, it's fun to see. Like you brought up the first round pick. Humphries, I mean, my gosh, what a disappointment that's been, huh? And it reminds me of the Jonathan Cooper a 3 years ago when he broke his leg in training camp and then struggled that whole year and then couldn't get back on the field the second year, and now he's finally getting back on the field, but he's hurt. So, I mean, that's tough. But other than that, Steve Keim and Bruce Arians have done pretty well.
Yeah, it's amazing how they draft. It doesn't seem like they necessarily draft. You can either draft by need or by availability, and it seems like the Cardinals tend to go more by availability, just the best player available. Yeah. I mean, you're not going to be strong in every category. You might as well be the best at something. And you know, the Cardinals already had a strong receiving core without J.J. Nelson.
Right.
And then they draft him for some depth. And then you never know when you got the guy like injured like Michael Floyd, how he comes in handy and right away, and how he led the Cardinals and he had the most receiving yards in one game of any rookie this year, including Amari Cooper.
Yeah.
The other thing is so huge, and we can't ever count out the fans out there because they were raucous last night. I mean, they were incredible.
They were patient
from start to finish. I don't know if you could feel it on TV the way it feels in the stadium. You know, the players feed off that so much.
We talked about it earlier in the season. One of the best home field advantages in the nation. I mean, no question about it. Yeah. Another thing, guys, we haven't really mentioned, you could have all the weapons you want on the receiving core. You could have a veteran like Carson Palmer, but if that offensive line breaks down and that offensive line doesn't provide protection, which they had a lot of heat heading into the season, can this offensive line hold up? Can this offensive line protect Carson Palmer? Because that's one of the biggest issues. If he stays healthy, the Cardinals are going to be great. But man, have they answered the bell these first 10 weeks of the season.
Not bad. I mean, listen, you had Lyle Senline with that shoulder going into Seattle last week, and he's still not 100%. He's back there playing. Mike Upati goes down yesterday, last night, and so he's struggling. Jonathan Cooper's out. I mean, it's like, man, this is like next man up in the offensive line.
You know, if I learned anything from the season, it was to not take into account the preseason. Just it doesn't matter, because the Cardinals' offensive line was so bad in the preseason that I did my little prediction for the season. I actually changed my pick from they're going to make the playoffs to they're not. They're probably going to go 9-7 because their offensive line was that bad.
Yeah.
It looked like a big concern.
Yeah, and it's just been a complete 180 in the regular season. But that was my bad. You know, I should know by now not to put too much stock into the preseason, and I learned my lesson in August. But,
that's true. I mean, on the flip side, there's concerns. There's concerns. Doesn't matter if it's preseason or not. I mean, it's not like the offensive line is just given half an effort. You know, so when they break down, that's concerning heading into the season.
Again, going back to the running game as well, it will be interesting to see if Chris Johnson can still carry that load and whether he can be the guy he was the first half of the season when he rushed for well over 4 yards a carry, and not the last 2 weeks. Against Seattle, I mean, he didn't have any room to run. I don't think that was on him. Against the Bengals, you know, you'd expect a little bit more from Johnson. He had a couple of good runs, especially in the fourth quarter, but again, it's their running games last couple weeks has looked a little bit more like it did last season.
Right.
So the good news is they have depth, but you wonder again, is Ellington and David Johnson, are they going to get into the mix a little bit more? Or are they going to have to get into the mix a little bit more?
Hey, another thing that just showed up here, the Cardinals have just posted too. At azcardinals.com/Pro Bowl, you can go online and vote for Pro Bowl players right now. So they're saying, hey, let's get the NFL's leading touchdown passer into the Pro Bowl. So they're pitching Carson Palmer, obviously, but go to azcardinals.com/Pro Bowl and you can start voting for some Cardinal players. And clearly, if anyone's deserved of being there, it's Carson Palmer.
I'm going to tell you what's going to happen, though, is Carson Palmer is at first going to be third in that voting behind Cam Newton and Aaron Rodgers, just because that's the way people are going to vote. He shouldn't be.
Well, let's do it. Let's outdo it then. Let's get online and vote.
Yeah. I mean, is he just not the most remarkable story of the season? He's 35 years old.
Yeah.
He's flirting with franchise records having one of the best seasons he's ever had. 35.
And what's interesting too, for those of us that have endured this for so long, when Carson Palmer left, when Kurt Warner left, we didn't think there'd ever be another Kurt Warner. Right.
Remember the days of Max Hall? And,
oh my gosh.
John Skelton.
Yes, and
yeah. You know, the help for us. I just remember those passes going over Larry Fitzgerald's head, and he just wanted. Fitzgerald just wanted to run off the field and just keep going.
This was a revolving door. When Kurt hung up his cleats and said, "I retire," this was like a revolving door of quarterbacks.
Which is how it was back in the day.
We couldn't find one.
Yeah.
Which historically.
Yeah.
If you take Jake Plummer out of the mix,
well,
it's like so many different quarterbacks.
I mean, I could list. I mean, it's Neil Lomax, Gary Hogeboom, Jay Schrader, Dave Craig, Steve Chandler, or Chris Chandler rather, Steve Berline, Tom Tupa, who became a punter later in his career, Tim Rosenbach. I mean, it was a carousel, a quarterback carousel, and it was going that way again. And thank goodness that when Carson Palmer came in, I had the reaction like, maybe he's a good placeholder for a couple of years. He's better than what we had, but I didn't think he'd be like this again.
No. Well, speaking with Ken Brew last week, kind of that whole Bengals mentality when we got him, it was kind of like, take him.
Right.
They really did not think highly of Carson Palmer.
That ended poorly back then. I mean, that was not a good split.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that was about as ugly a divorce as you could have.
Yeah.
And then he comes back and he's playing at this level. And listen, he threw well in Oakland. I mean, he had over 4,000 yards passing in Oakland, so it wasn't like he was a schlep. He just didn't have anybody around him.
Right.
Now he has a team around him. He has a defense, he has special teams, he has receivers and a running back.
And a running game. Too.
So that's huge.
Yeah.
But it's exciting to see for him.
Big
and
time.
Exciting for us as Cardinal fans because we have
is.
a quarterback, which we didn't think we'd ever have again.
The Phoenix Cardinals are long gone, thank goodness.
That's right.
I think we're going to get to our picks here pretty soon.
Yeah.
And I got, along with the Territorial Cup, Jason, congratulations on that.
Appreciate that.
Big weekend for Jason Snavely. He nailed, I think we got the video here, he nailed last week's pick for Cardinals Bengals. Do we have that? Can we roll that?
This would be a completely different prediction. I need you guys to cheer after the fourth quarter last night. I mean, completely different prediction. They're riding high. They're going to continue riding.
That's your qualifier? My prediction would be different?
Yeah, my prediction would have been different if they lost.
If.
But I'm going with 34-31 Cards on Sunday.
34-31.
Yeah. This would be a completely different prediction had they lost in the fourth quarter last night. I mean, completely different prediction. 34-31.
Pretty impressive. Nice pat on the back for that one.
That's right.
And we won't even buy you lunch. So that's all you get. Huh?
It won't happen again, so let me celebrate the small victories.
You know what? I'll just say this. At least it wasn't Zenner. At least it wasn't Tom.
That's right.
For
We
once.
never hear the end of it. It was Tom Zenner.
That's true. We may not hear the end of it with this guy.
No, I suspect we will.
Yeah.
I suspect we will.
He'll-
After a couple of weeks.
He'll hear more about the Territorial Cup for
Yeah.
another
That's
year.
true.
We'll look forward to that.
That's true. Yeah, you had a couple days off this weekend, so you haven't had a chance to rub it in yet.
Right.
It's still fresh for you.
Congratulations on being
Great
our
weekend
third
of
string
football.
quarterback, Jason Snavely.
Great weekend to take off, right?
Yeah,
A lot of good football.
Gee whiz. So, all right, here we are. Cardinals at San Francisco. Let's take some picks on this one, shall we?
I'm. You want to go first,
Go
Jason? You gotta be
ahead.
honest.
I actually need to,
yeah.
You're gonna
need to
defer?
think about this one.
Okay. All right, I'll go first.
right.
First of all, it's going to be closer than 47-7 this time. I think Blaine Gabbert again. I think he's a little more efficient than Colin Kaepernick. Not going to, make a lot of big plays. I think he's a better game manager. I think he keeps the 49ers in it. I think the Cardinals are. I don't think that they're. I think they're too mature to take the 49ers lightly. But I think in San Francisco, 49ers are going to get up for this game. It's a division game. I think it's going to be closer. I'm going to say 27. I'm going to say 27-21 Cardinals.
Wow.
I think it'll be a tight one.
Wow, 27.
Wow, that's close.
Yeah. I would love to be wrong about that. I'd love to see them in a 47-7 game, but I think it's going to be a tight one.
I think the Cardinals are going to score much more than 27 points against that 49ers defense, even though it's in San Francisco. I'm going 42-20 Cards. Deck Cards.
42-20?
42-20.
Wow.
Can you make it two in a row?
Yeah.
Mine's not even that close. I'm going 48-7.
Okay.
Not even close.
48-7. You think it's going to be bigger
48-7.
than
I don't
last
think
one?
it's. I don't think it's even close in San Francisco. I think they're on a roll. They're 8-2. They want to get to 9-2.
I would be fine with that.
Brett, let's get a pick from you today. What do you think?
Go 32-14.
32-14. Haley, you're running audio. What do you think? You got a pick? She's like shaking her head. No, I don't have a pick. Come on, give us a pick. Otherwise, we'll give you one.
She goes, I don't do football. She said.
How big do you think the Cardinals will win? What do you think? By 3 touchdowns, 4 touchdowns, 3 touchdowns? All right, so we'll give you, how about 30 to
That's close to my pick.
10? How about that?
Okay.
All right, Haley, you're in 30 to 10. We gave you one. We just set you up. We'll see how you do. You may win.
You know it's going to be 30 to 10 now, right?
That's going to be 30 to 10.
Thing is, I'm celebrating my last victory, but what do I get nothing.
Yeah. No, you get a pat on the back, which you did when we started. Yeah,
and a small applause from
absolutely.
family.
No, hey, listen, I think everybody's excited about where we are as a team right now and the team we're supporting, and the fact that they are second in the NFC is huge right now.
Yeah.
You know, and at this point, you're 10 games in, and the only team better is the Carolina Panthers.
Yeah, I think Cards fans are still holding their breath a little bit after last year.
Absolutely.
They started 9-1. Palmer goes down. He actually went down before that, but went 2-4 the rest of the way. Even when the Cardinals won the Super Bowl, I'm a little delusional. When they went to the Super Bowl, they started the season 7-2 and ended 9-7. So they have a history of not finishing strong. Here's something incredible: is the Cardinals have never had a first-round bye. They won the division twice. They were the worst team of all 4 teams to win a division both times, so they had to play a wild card game.
Yep.
Never had a first-round bye. How big would it be just to be able to rest up, sit back and relax, and just enjoy a week of football, and knowing the Cardinals are going to play the following week?
Well, yeah, and you know, compared to last season, 9-1 start, but you just kind of brush past the fact that, and then Carson was out. That's huge.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
The Fans are holding their breath as far as injuries,
right?
Because you just never know.
And if he stays healthy, if Fitz can stay healthy, and they can pull off those next 2 wins, 10-2.
Yeah.
I mean, goodness, guys, with 4 weeks to play after that, we can't jump
No.
ahead.
No.
But still, a 3-game lead over the Seahawks with 6 to play at this moment.
Yeah.
I like our chances. I do.
No, absolutely. It's interesting, too, the Cardinals, you mentioned the playoffs recently for the Cardinals. We haven't won the division since 2009, is that correct? It's
08 and 09 back to back.
And we haven't won since 09, but those 2 years of playoffs there, we had to play the NFC South in that first round. That one year we had to go to Carolina and beat them down there, and then the next year we had to play Atlanta at home.
Right.
And that, like you said, we haven't had a first-round bye, so how refreshing would it be to get a first-round bye and rest up a little bit, get that bye week in week 17, 18? That'd be huge.
Yeah, I'll say, the Cardinals, what's funny is last year, the Cardinals, the first time that they made the playoffs and didn't win a playoff game since they've been in Arizona. They haven't made the playoffs a lot.
Right.
But 98 and in 08 and 09, they won at least one game.
Yeah.
Last year, it's hard for me to even count last year because
how are you going to win
they
that?
were left for dead by the time they
How were you going to win in that situation with all the bodies that were hurt and what was going on?
I think you could make an argument that no team in the NFL would appreciate a bye week more than the Arizona Cardinals when you've got their star players, the trio that's in their 30s and have battled injuries. I mean, that's to keep them fresh heading into the playoffs. My goodness.
Even if you're pretty healthy, it's still having that extra week of rest.
Right.
Before you get to play a home game in front of a jacked up crowd.
The bottom line is, with all of our picks, I don't think the Cardinals even need to go to San Francisco.
Let's hope they
send the practice squad and get a win.
Send the practice squad like U of A did to 10
This will be like preseason game number 3. The starters will play through the halftime.
Get Drew Stanton sometime,
I hope we're not watching this video back on Sunday evening and thinking what.
Seriously.
Exactly.
This team was one that knocked off the Minnesota Vikings in Week 1.
That's right. Hey, listen, we're building some momentum here. Cardinals are 8-2. It's the Cardinals Countdown every Monday here at Four Peaks Brewing Company. We are at Tempe today. Join us next week. Come on out. Be live with us. Give us a call next week, 602-685-3017 or hashtag ABC15Cards. Take part in this. It's too exciting to just kind of sit back on your hands right now. You got to get involved with Cardinals gear. You got to get your jersey on, your hat on. You got to come out and support the team. Let's do it for the rest of the season here. Let's get the Cardinals into the playoffs and let's get some wins and on to that Super Bowl 50 up in Santa Clara. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week.